Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Crush Cravings Before Diabetes Crushes You. I'm Karen Sammer, I'm your host. I'm a National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, and I help people to overcome cravings so they can lose weight and avoid avoid development of diabetes and the requirement of diabetic medications. And today, what I'd like to do is dive a little bit deeper into the most recent weight loss fad, if you want to call it that, of using GLP-1 agonists, the drugs that help you to lose weight. So you may know them. First of all, we're going to talk a little bit more about the drugs, but we're also going to talk about natural ways of taking care of this without the drugs. Now, I just don't want you to think that I am anti-drug, because that isn't the case. There is a place in life for drugs when needed, for medications when needed. But it should not necessarily be your first line of defense, unless it's something that is acute. If it's something that's chronic that can be managed other ways through changes in habit, changes in nutrition, changes in lifestyle, whatever changes, managing stress, whatever those changes are, then my recommendation is always try that first. Once you've exhausted all of that, then maybe you turn to medication. Unless, as I said, it's an acute situation that requires immediate medical attention. And if that's the case, then certainly do what you have to do to get well. And always, always defer to your doctor's recommendations. It's always, the medical professional is the person who should be your gatekeeper when it comes to these things. But it is not out of the question that you possibly ask if you could get a deferral of using the medication and try something else before that. And maybe tell them what you're trying to do so that they can support you in that effort. There are some doctors that don't have a lot of faith in their patients. And when you have that doctor, I suggest you get another doctor, because you really are you know your body better than anybody. And you also know what you are capable of. And if you're willing to do the work, then certainly they should support you in that. So with that being said, so GLP-1 agonists are the drugs that have been touted widely recently for weight loss, helping people to lose weight. GLP-1 is a glucagon-like peptide that our body naturally produces that has to do with digestion, it has to do with weight loss, and maintaining weight, has to do with sugar, blood sugar maintenance, all sorts of things. So when your body is healthy and you're producing the appropriate amount of GLP-1, what it does is it helps to reduce your risk of diabetes. It helps you to manage your weight. It helps you to overcome insulin resistance or manage your insulin so that you don't become insulin resistant. And it has all kinds of other things that it takes care of, because it's manufactured in your gut, and so your gut and brain are very closely related. And so when your gut is working well, your brain often improves. If your gut is out of kilter, if it's really in bad shape, it does affect your cognitive ability. It affects your moods. It affects your mental and emotional stability. It has got a lot of it has a lot of impact on your day-to-day life if your gut is out of whack. So, as I said, GLP-1 helps to regulate blood sugar. It also helps you to feel full when you've completed your meal. So once you've eaten an adequate amount of nutritious food, you should have a sated feeling, and that is GLP-1 contributes to that. So it was first identified. So this is fairly new kind of discovery. It was only identified in 1990, so about 34 years ago, and after the discovery of that peptide, these drugs started to come into place, and the pharmaceutical companies jumped on the bandwagon and decided to try to tap into that resource, because weight loss is a multi-trillion-dollar business, and so the pharmaceutical companies certainly want to get a little piece of that action. So they started to develop these drugs: dulaglutide, exenatide. So dulaglutide is Trulicity. Exenatide is Byetta. Liraglutide is Victoza. Semaglutide is Ozempic and Rybelsus. and tirzepatide is Mounjaro. These were all developed in response to this discovery of this particular peptide. And what these drugs do is they activate your own GLP-1, and also they mimic the GLP-1, the behavior of the GLP-1 in your body. So when you're not producing enough of it because of the various reasons, for various reasons, these drugs will help to do the job that the missing GLP-1 will do. So originally they were developed for type 2 diabetes because it was decided or determined that when you activate this GLP-1, blood sugar regulation happens, weight management is easier, and it was more about blood sugar regulation, insulin regulation, and the types of things, all of those components of diabetes. And so one of the side effects of using these drugs was reduced appetite and weight loss, or managing weight regulation, actually, just getting your body at a good weight, and also improving glycemic control. So improving the glucose, the level of glucose that's in your blood, and controlling the sugar distribution in your body. So, and when they determined that there was one of the effects was weight loss, then they thought they really hit a gold mine, and they are absolutely right. So recently, only in 2 years ago, these drugs were identified as being okay to use for weight loss, weight management. Unfortunately, for many people, the drugs are not covered by insurance. They're very expensive because they're all brand new drugs on the market, so they're probably still under patent, and many, if not all of them, and so they are prohibitively expensive for most people, and they also require you to do sometimes daily injections. At least initially, it was daily injections. I think now they've gotten it down to weekly injections, but it's still prohibitively expensive, and many insurance companies will not cover them. So they have also a lot of side effects. So these drugs have side effects like nausea, like elimination problems, constipation, diarrhea. It's all these kind of discomforts that come along with digestive imbalances, and they don't often go away. So you may be stuck with that feeling if you're taking this drug, which is probably why you're losing weight, because you're probably not eating because you don't feel like it. And it also changes keeps your stomach from emptying. So I feel like when you're unnaturally causing that to happen, that you're setting yourself up for some problems. But the side effects of the drugs can be quite unpleasant. And but I think the reason doctors are prescribing them is, number one, they worry about blood sugar buildup in the blood, because that's dangerous. That is a toxin in your blood. And when your pancreas isn't doing the job of sending the insulin when it's appropriate, and taking that glucose and distributing it into your muscles and all the places that it's supposed to go, then the alarm bells start to ring. Excuse me. And the blood sugar hanging out in your bloodstream is what causes diabetes. So your doctor's looking at the risk of diabetes or the risk of using the drugs, the unpleasantness of using the drugs, which is worse. And because they don't have the time to sit with you and teach you how to eat nourishing foods and help you to identify lifestyle changes that you could make, these things, the easiest path to success is to give you the medication. So some of the risk factors using the pharmaceutical drugs: nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, constipation, heartburn, flatulence, gastritis, kidney issues, pancreatitis, and gallstones, and ileus, which is the stoppage of normal intestinal function. So your intestines are kind of move food through the system, move everything through the system by this. I think it's called peristalsis, but I could be wrong in that terminology. But this condition, ileus, is when that stops happening, when your normal intestinal function stops happening, which means then you can't go to the bathroom. Then you're not moving nutrients into your body the way they need to go. And it also can cause medullary thyroid cancer. So knowing the side effects of these drugs Wouldn't it be interesting to know if there are other ways that you can do the same thing without taking dangerous chemicals? And for me, the answer to that is yes. I think that it's really important that we exhaust all other options before we turn to a drug. And some people say that that's the easy way out, and I am not going to say that, because having been on a weight loss journey all my adult life, sometimes more successfully than others, I understand the difficulty and the compulsion to eat foods that are not healthy for you, or eat because you're emotional, or eat because you're upset, or whatever the issue is, you're stressed out, or you just eat foods that are not necessarily the best for you because it's the quickest way to get rid of that hunger feeling. And sometimes that hunger feeling is a physical, real hunger feeling. Sometimes it's a hunger for something else, and you're feeding it food when actually you should be possibly doing something else. But we don't have the time for the introspection to figure out what exactly it is that we're missing, that we're trying to fill with food. And sometimes we don't want to go there. It's a dark and scary place when you go to what's going on in your life sometimes. So it's easier to avoid and stuff it down with food. But that's a topic for a different day. So I understand the kind of the intriguing aspect of these drugs, because if they make you not want to eat food, it's gonna solve the problem. Unfortunately, what it's going to do is it's going to keep you from getting the nourishment that you need also. And then you have all these other side effects that are not even related to digestion, or they're all kind of related to digestion, but the more dangerous side effects like pancreatitis and gallstones and gastritis, those things are pretty those are significant. So what happens, these drugs, they slow digestion, they suppress your appetite because your stomach isn't emptying out, and supposedly they also enhance your metabolism. But there are other ways and more natural ways to enhance your metabolism so that you can you have that the mechanism is working where you're eating the food, you're getting the nourishment that you need from the food, the energy that you need, and then the waste goes out of your body, and then you start again. And everything is regulated, everything is normal, everything is at equilibrium. That is the perfect scenario. Now, I believe I just heard a statistic yesterday. Around 98% of the population in the U.S. is metabolically unhealthy. That means that we are on some part of the path on the way to diabetes or other metabolic issues. Diabetes being the one that kind of stands out in my mind. So 98% of us. And you know what that's due to? Our standard American diet, which we have generously shared with the rest of the world. So, I call it the standard Western diet, but actually we extend way beyond the Western hemisphere with these dietary choices that we have. So anyway, that is what causes us. That is a main contributor. It's not that's not everything, but that's the main contributor to our metabolic our situation of being metabolically unhealthy. So these drugs, they keep you from eating too much or sometimes eating at all. They help you to improve your metabolism. They also are supposedly cardioprotective, so they help your cardiovascular system. But when you're lowering, because it lowers your blood pressure, but it also lowers your blood sugar. Blood sugar significantly impacts your cardiovascular health and reduces inflammation and maybe makes some other heart healthy changes. The very act of losing weight is going to help you, as long as you lose it in a healthy way, is going to help you to manage your heart health. It also helps you to reduce your risk of fatty liver disease. So what happens when you have too much blood sugar and your body is fully saturated with the amount of sugar that it needs, then what it does is it stores it in your liver and then in your adipose tissue. So it stores it in your liver until your liver can't take anymore. But you keep doing that. If you keep knocking on your liver's door telling it to take on this more and more and more glucose, then you're going to end up with fatty liver disease. And inflamed liver ultimately could be cirrhotic. It could be cirrhosis of the liver. And so when you're managing your blood sugar, you're also managing your risk for fatty liver disease. However, there are foods that you can eat that will help you to manage your GLP-1. It will help you to, not just foods and supplements, but it will help you to keep your metabolism at a healthy rate. It'll help you to keep your blood sugar regulated. It'll help you to do all these things that keep you at equilibrium, so that these drugs are not necessary. So let's talk about foods that increase your GLP-1 levels. The first food I'm going to talk about is protein. So you want to eat probably 25 to 30 grams of protein a day. I'm sorry, per meal. And depending on your body weight, it should be 70% of your body weight in grams of protein per day. Now, if you're at a pretty high level of body weight, that's a significant number of protein grams. So if you keep it to like 75 to 100 a day, you're probably getting adequate protein. 75 to 100 grams a day, spread out throughout the day. So high protein foods are meat, fish, eggs, plant-based proteins, but at a high level. So like beans and lentils and peas and seeds and nuts. These things all help to trigger the release of GLP-1. And they help you to feel satisfied. That's the thing, is that the GLP-1 helps you to feel satisfied so that you are not going after more food. And they also said that, so that this study, or this source that I have, I just got this article from a doctor that encourages people not to use the drugs. He suggests also that whey protein powder helps to increase GLP-1 levels, which is, so whey is a source. It's a dairy-based source of protein. Not everybody can tolerate whey. If you're dairy intolerant, you can't necessarily use whey protein powder. But there are also vegan substitutes, which are also equally as beneficial to your body, because normally they are based in pea protein. They have other vegetable proteins in them. There are some that have, I have tried a protein powder that is made from sunflower seeds, but most of them are pea protein, and others, but primarily pea protein. And it's also, so pea protein is very bioavailable. So you don't have to necessarily eat, if you can't tolerate dairy, or if you prefer not to eat dairy or to consume dairy, then the pea protein is a very viable alternative. You want to also consume plenty of healthy fats, monounsaturated and omega-3 fatty acids that are found in foods like olive oil, avocados, nuts, and fatty fish like salmon can help to increase your GLP-1 levels. Nuts, as I said before, such as almonds, so they are sources of protein and sources of fat and sources of fiber, which we'll get to next. So nuts such as almonds, pistachios, and peanuts also help to increase your GLP-1 levels, according to this study. And then fiber. So soluble fibers like inulin, beta-glucans, and resistant starch help to feed your gut bacteria. And then those particular things feed your gut bacteria. Then you have prebiotics also feed your gut bacteria that include onions, garlic, bananas, oats, and legumes. Fermented foods are amazing. Fermented foods like sauerkraut or kimchi or pickles, or anything that you can pickle, anything that you can ferment. Those foods are all very good for your to feed your gut bacteria. Those the bacteria that's in the fermentation process that happens during the fermentation process helps to feed your gut bacteria. You have fermentable foods such as Brussels sprouts and black beans and lentils and split peas and oats and raspberries. They help your body also. They help your belly to, or your gut, to secrete that GLP-1 peptide. Probiotics. So you want to consume plenty of probiotics, and you can get them through your food, and you can also get them in supplement form. So you want beneficial bacteria is what a probiotic is. So your probiotics are fed by your prebiotics, and probiotics are the things that help you to keep your gut bacteria in balance, so that the good guys outweigh the bad guys. Like lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, these things may help to enhance your GLP-1 production and also help to optimize your gut health. So not only is it going to help you with your weight management, but it's going to help you with your cognition. It's going to help you with your mood regulation. It's going to help you with stress management. It's going to help you with a whole bunch of stuff. So foods contain like yogurt, kimchi, miso soup, kombucha, and sauerkraut help to keep your gut microbiome in good working order. There are also some supplements that you can take, because even if you think that you're eating the best and healthiest diet in the world, you're still subject to the quality of the food that you're consuming. And so a lot of the foods that we think are nutrient rich are pretty depleted because of the way we grow them, because of the way we treat our crops, the way we manage our pests. So when you're using a lot of pesticides and herbicides to manage weeds, and using all sorts of chemicals to grow the fruits and ripen the fruits prematurely, the fruits and vegetables prematurely, all of these things contribute to the depletion of the nutritional value of the foods. So supplementation is often necessary. Some of the supplements that you can take are berberine. So berberine can come in a tablet form, I believe. And many studies have compared berberine to metformin positively. And so we know that when berberine can help to optimize your gut microbiome, and it also helps to manage your blood sugar. So if berberine is comparable to metformin in regulating your blood sugar, my money's on berberine. So what happens with berberine is that it helps to mimic and enhance, the effects of a GLP-1. It helps to increase your GLP-1 secretion from your intestinal cells, which is where it comes from. And so that's why people who are diabetic and take berberine will see a better control of their blood sugar. It can also help to lower your A1C. Now, if you don't know what your A1C is, it's actually HbA1c, which is hemoglobin A1c. It can go down. So that is a measure of your blood sugar over a period of about 3 months. So you can take a fasting blood sugar, which is your moment, is a moment in time. It's whatever's going on at that moment. And then A1C is to see what has gone on throughout the last 3 months, so that you really can't hide from that. You may be able to manage the fasting glucose if you straighten up for a couple of days, and you may be able to manage your fasting glucose as long as it isn't too far gone. But you really can't manage the A1C if you haven't been maintaining a healthy blood sugar throughout that 3-month period. Omega-3 supplementation. Fish oil, krill oil, and algae oil are supplements that provide omega-3 fatty acids, and that helps to increase your GLP-1 production in your gut. Probiotics, as we said before, probiotics that have like acidophilus and B. infantis, B. bifidum, may stimulate GLP-1. And what they do, because it helps to support your gut microbiome, keeps the good guys outweighing the bad guys, and helps to also increase your GLP-1 production. Prebiotics feed those probiotics, and the names of those are way too long for me to pronounce. So that what happens is the prebiotics feed the probiotics, and the probiotics are the good guys, and they also feed the good guys. Again, allowing a higher production of GLP-1. Turmeric is like this wonder supplement. It does all kinds of stuff for you. It looks like orange ginger. If you buy it whole in the store, it's a root, and it's bright orange. You can also buy it in capsule form, or you can buy it as a spice. It's consumed for its anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and digestive health properties. So curcumin is a chemical that's found in turmeric, and it is believed also to provide many benefits. So what it does, curcumin has a really good support. It's a really good support for many, for stress, for inflammation, for gut health, for cardiovascular health. There's all kinds of things that curcumin is very beneficial for. Making sure your vitamin D is sufficient. So almost everybody in the world is deficient of vitamin D. And it has been discovered that many people with chronic illness are deficient in vitamin D, significantly deficient in vitamin D. So when you optimize your vitamin D, it supports your bone health, it supports your cardiovascular health, it helps you to mitigate the risk of certain cancers, it helps you, like breast cancer, something near and dear to my heart, and it helps to improve your gut microbiome, and it helps you to just regulate a lot of things in your body. It helps you also to manage weight. It contributes to weight management success. So definitely supplement with vitamin D. Almost everybody is vitamin D deficient. We don't get outside enough. We slather ourselves in sunscreen, especially if it's a barrier sunscreen that has like zinc oxide in it, because that keeps your body from absorbing the vitamin D that comes from the sun, because the best source of vitamin D actually is from the sun. What happens is it's a hormone. Vitamin D is a hormone, not an actual vitamin. And so the sun comes down and reacts with your body and helps you to I believe it helps you to produce your own vitamin D. I think that's the hormone that is vitamin D. But absorbing sunlight for 20 minutes a day and between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., that hot spot, for 20 minutes a day without anything on it, with minimal clothes on, if you can, whatever amount of skin you can expose, helps you to get plenty of vitamin D. But if you live here, like I live in the Northeast, so if you live in the Northeast, you don't have all that many months. You probably have maybe 6 months out of the year where you can do that, where you can get outside with minimal clothing on to have as much skin exposed and as possible without getting arrested, but expose enough skin so that you are absorbing enough vitamin D to carry you through. So at the very least, if you're out in the sun all summer, great. And maybe you don't need to supplement in the summertime, but in the wintertime for sure you do, because the days are shorter, we cover up, it's cold outside, we don't get a lot of sunlight, and so it's really important that you supplement with vitamin D. And you can get some from foods, but if you're eating foods that are fortified with the vitamin D, I would say that's probably not the best source, because fortification means that they are artificially adding it to whatever that food is. You're better off getting it from natural sources like dairy, I think, probably, maybe cheese, which I don't really recommend anybody eat, but cheese probably has a good amount of it, and maybe some yogurt. But supplementation is usually pretty necessary, because we don't always assimilate the vitamin D that we get from our diet into our bodies so that it's in a usable form. Another source is another thing that you can use as a food. Or as a supplement is yerba mate. So that's an herb that is often consumed as a tea. And it is believed to have several health benefits. It helps to boost energy and mental alertness, and has a lot of antioxidant properties. Antioxidants will help to reduce oxidative stress in your body, and oxidative stress causes inflammation. So if you can reduce inflammation, you're gonna solve a lot of problems in your body. And a lot of people use yerba mate as a tea to manage their weight. And also, there's some studies that have shown that yerba mate may also help to stimulate the GLP-1 levels in your gut, and that maintains a feeling of satiety. So you feel fuller longer. And it says these findings. This is a quote. These findings suggest that the mate may reduce anorexic effects by direct induction of satiety and stimulation of GLP-1 secretion. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know how that would keep you from becoming anorexic, but it does help to possibly stabilize blood sugar. So bottom line is, if you consume high protein, prebiotics, healthy fats, plenty of fiber, and some of these supplements that I talked about, you can help to manage your GLP-1 production naturally. On top of that, what you want to do is you want to manage your lifestyle. And lifestyle changes can be small incremental changes so that they are manageable. Because quite honestly, you can't make a 180-degree turn and expect that to be successful, because it's just too much. It's too overwhelming. So for many people. So when you make wholesale changes throughout your entire life, something's going to fall apart. Make small incremental changes. Each time you make a change, make that change for a while till it sticks, so it becomes habit. Then go on to the next change, and go on to the next change. And before you know it, you will have done that 180-degree turn, but it would have been manageable and much more likely to be successful. So you want to get plenty of sleep. You want to get between 7 and 9 hours of dark sleep a night. That means no TV, no blue light, no computer, no phone. Try to minimize the electronics in your bedroom. Even if you have your phone, don't have it next to your bed. Necessarily have it far enough away from your bed so you're not getting those EMFs pounding at your head all night, because that interrupts your sleep. So 7 to 9 hours of deep restorative sleep every night. One of the ways you can help to make that happen is or several ways actually, shut off electronics at least an hour before bed, because that does disrupt your melatonin production. Melatonin is the chemical that you produce when it's time to wind down. So in the morning, you're producing cortisol. As the day goes on, cortisol depletes. If you're a healthy person, cortisol goes down, melatonin comes up. So it starts to rise as the evening comes on, so that it gets you ready for sleep. So turn off the electronics about at least an hour before bed. No electronics in the bedroom. Getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Get out first thing in the morning and face east, and just let the sun kind of reflect on your face, into your eyes. Don't look directly into the sun, but look in the direction of the sun, not directly into it, and just let that sort of absorb. Let your light receptors in your eyes sort of absorb that, and that helps you to regulate your circadian rhythm, which is your body clock. So do that every morning if you can, for 10 minutes or so. Just get out and just stand there. When I take my dog out in the morning, I stand there and look towards the east and let the sun just kind of bathe me. Even if there isn't sun out, do that anyway, because there's still sun, because it's daylight. So even if you don't see a blazing ball of sun in the air, in the sky, you're still going to get the benefits. So plenty of sleep. Stress management. Stress management is paramount to managing your health, and specifically in this case, to managing your blood sugar, because when you are under a lot of stress, you're producing a lot of cortisol. Cortisol makes your blood sugar increase, and even when you're not eating. So even if you're in a fasted state, if you have a jolt of adrenaline and cortisol, a stress-inducing thing that causes all of these chemicals to go into high alert, you will increase your blood sugar into the danger zone. Now, if you're a healthy person, once that perceived danger is over, blood sugar comes back down and is regulated again. But your brain perceives whatever is causing you to be stressed as danger, and it sets you up to escape. And the way you escape is by flooding your body with the sugar, so that it can go into your muscles and you can run away from the tiger or whatever it is that's causing you to be stressed. Unfortunately, in our crazy world, there's a lot of stress that's unrelenting. And so we need to learn how to manage that stress, because stress is pretty much inevitable. If you live on this planet, there's always some level of stress in your life. And stress isn't always bad, but unrelenting stress is bad. So you want to learn how to manage it. And I teach my clients how to do certain breathing techniques, easy things that they don't take a lot of time. They help to downregulate your nervous system, so that you're not constantly in that state of high alert. So sleep, dietary choices, supplementation, sleep management, stress management, and finally exercise. Exercise doesn't mean you run a marathon every day. Exercise may be may mean getting out for a 15-minute walk a couple of times a day. If you can get 30 minutes of walking in a day, that however you split it up, or if you do it all at one time, you will probably be healthier than most of your friends if they're not, unless they're all exercising. But 30 minutes more is better, but it doesn't have to be 30 minutes a day. 5 to 7 days a week is probably a really good place to start, and it really makes you feel better because it clears your head, it gets your fluids moving, so your lymphatic fluids are moving, your blood is circulating, you're loosening up your joints and your muscles. Because I don't know about you, but as I get older, sitting for a long period of time makes it almost impossible to get up. Maybe not impossible, but very difficult. It is hard to get moving again because my knees get stiff and everything gets stiff. But once I get up and start moving, I feel really, really good. So I can quickly dissipate that stiffness, but initially, standing up. So it's just, comes with age and whatever. And I do sometimes, depending on my day, I sit for probably longer than I should. And I need to stop doing that. So even if I have a busy day, I should be able to get up and just move around, do some stretches at my desk, or do some just some wiggling around, do some movement of some sort, just to get my body moving again and warmed up. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go through this list again. Dietary changes, supplementation, sleep management, stress management, and exercise. All of these things will help you to manage your own GLP-1 production. And I would urge you to try these things unless you are in a dangerous situation and you require these drugs for whatever reason. I by all means listen to your doctor. But if you have an option to either do something different, fix it yourself, or take the medication, I would urge you to try to fix it yourself. And I am happy to support you in that effort. Everybody is entitled to one free consultation with me. We'll talk for an hour or however long you need. We'll talk about where you are. We'll talk about where you want to be. And I'll help you to set the steps to get there. If you decide that we want to work together, if we decide together, because it's actually a mutual decision. If we decide together that we want to work together, great. If not, no big deal. You'll go off and you'll have some steps to take to get you started on your healthy path. And I've done this. I lost 135 pounds 15 years ago. And I was pre-diabetic, and I overcame that. I also had cancer, overcame that. And a couple of years later, I had a heart attack, overcame that. But it's the choices that I make every day that help me to do this. So I know what you're going through. I've been there. You don't have any excuse that I haven't already used in my own life. You don't have to be embarrassed. You don't have to feel like a failure. If you do feel like a failure, we're going to talk about that. Whatever it is that is going to help you to get started on your healthy path, I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm Karen Stammer. My business is yourpoweryourhealth.com. If you want to take me up on that free consultation, you go to my website, which is yourpoweryourhealth.com/book, and book the session. And I look forward to talking to you. Have a good time, and I will see you next time.